Some parents couldn't live the life they wanted, so they try to steal yours. I feel real bad if you got parents like that, as well as other people, where they are forced against their wills to do what they want with their lives. They came into this life to find themselves, like the video I made a while back. And they do these things that their parents told them to, or not only their parents. It could be their grandparents or other family members, and it's a damn shame and a damn disgrace. A damn disappointment. The child's life ain't your life. Parents or any family members or all together. That child's life is solely his or hers. End of story. No cliffhangers. Chapter 1, chapter done. Volume 1, volume done. Like it or not, that's how it is. Even if I'm not mistaken, even in your religion, for those religious folks, plural, you know, somewhere in there it also said your child is not your child. Your child is his or her own being. You know? That's why it's like quote unquote so-called God's gift to you. You are just a conduit that carries. You are just a component that carries, you know. If you check out my video from Rumble, the one that YouTube removed because apparently I encourage self-harm, self-injury, you know. YouTube is so sensitive. Yeah, I'll stop there. It's true though, but anyways, it's a damn shame, and it's the parents' fault that they did not get to live the life they wanted because they wasted time. They somehow were able to do their mundane, remedial, retarded, stupid jobs for 40 years though. You're able to do that for 40 years, but somehow you're unable to work on what you wanted for the longest time for 40 years or within the span of 40 years. And now your child is born, or children, and now you're trying to steal their lives by telling them what to do, your expectations of them, your hopes. You know, it really sickens me and disappoints me when I hear or see children or students say, I'm doing these things for my parents, I'm accomplishing my parents' dreams, what they want of me. You know, back then, before I was in this space, feeling this grace, you know, feeling these graces and all that in this space, feeling the grace, I thought it was normal. That's how blue-pilled and brainwashed I was. I looked at that as amazing. You're doing your parents proud. But now that I know, you know, thank goodness, it's absolutely appalling. It's your life, kid. I sound old, but I'm not. I'm 24 this year. Not yet 24, but I'll be 24 in June, middle of this year. But kiddo, bro, sis, this is your life. Why are you trying to live your parents' lives? Especially when you don't want to. You argue with them. You go against them. They're disappointed in you. Keep fighting the good fight. Do what you want. Or if you eventually succumb, that's a damn shame. Unless you got some backup plan and all that, you got things being cooked, you know, you're cooking some things, let him cook, let her cook behind the scenes and all, then okay. But if you just permanently want to succumb, permanently want to surrender because you don't want to fight, that's a damn shame and a waste. You know, and then it's even more of a damn shame if you have kids and you want to repeat the same things. Generational curse. My parents didn't get to live their dreams, so they want to put it through me, and if I were to have kids, I want to do the same. And that's also one of the reasons why people don't want to have kids, because they fear that they will do that. You know, they might lose control, and you know, for some reason, no offense, they might lose control, and then they end up forcing their kids to do the same, like how their kids, aka their kids' grandparents, did to mommy or daddy. You know, daddy didn't want to be engineer, but grandpa and grandma forced daddy to be an engineer, or mommy, you know, or both, you know. Maybe two souls similar meet up. You know, it's like almost like a match made in heaven, isn't it? The man is like that, the woman is like that, and they met each other, loved each other because they're similar, understand each other, and then your job and your due diligence and your duty is to break that cycle. So don't do that. You know, you have to have that sense. You have to have that inclination, proclivity, and the cognizance to break the damn cycle that both your respective parents have done unto you, stole your life, or trying to steal your life because they wasted theirs for 40 years. What the hell? How you wasted 4 decades and now you're trying to steal your children's or your child's singular life? Have you no shame? You clearly don't. That is so stupid. Just like the video I made, stupidity should be the 8th deadly sin. Now you see why I said that? Because it's so toxic, it's so negatively powerful, stupidity. It can disrupt and destroy a lot of things. A lot of things, frameworks, frames, constructions, builds, structures, the foundation, fundamentals are destroyed because of stupidity. I am absolutely flabbergasted and shocked as to why stupidity is not one of the deadly sins. But now it is. I officiated it, even though I'm a nobody. Who the fuck cares? If nobody cares, I will. You know, no worries. But in my book, in this existence, in my vocabulary and dictionary, there are 8 deadly sins, no longer 7, 8. The number 8 being stupidity. And it makes total sense if you really think about it. Because the 7 is greed, gluttony, lust, pride, wrath, envy, sloth, and now the 8th, stupidity. Okay, makes sense as to why stupidity is not there in the first place. Now it is. Now it makes total sense. Maybe you need some time. In due time it will make sense. Oh yeah, he's right. How come stupidity is not one of the deadly sins? That's what I'm saying. And you see it prominent and prevalent everywhere. Your brain cells probably getting deteriorated and rotten. That's why you gotta stay away from these rotten people too. Deteriorated, you know. A rotten apple spoils the bunch, literally. If you mix around someone retarded and they spread, you know, and then there's a group of smarty pants. In human form is a different story. But if you have a group of stupid people and you're the only smart one, it's gonna rub on you. Or there's a few of smarty pants and a lot of stupid people. It obviously outnumbers and outweighs. So you gotta stay away. That rhymes. Separate. You know, smart and stupid clearly don't click. Cherish and preserve and maintain your brain cells. Don't be around these fools. Don't be around these idiotic parents that are trying to steal your life or your lives. Plural. You know? It's your life. Your one life. Who knows if we got another later on? Who knows if we got a second chance? Who knows? Nobody knows. As far as we know, we got one. There's so many theories and inferences and hypotheses and conclusions and whatnot. Some people believe that we have another life, you know, multiverse, alternate universe, realities, afterlife. Some believe we just die, end of story. All these speculations. For me, I don't really know. I'm open-minded. That's why I'm an agnostic. I don't know. I simply do not know. But obviously, I wish for the best for everyone, not just myself. Best outcome, because it's some bullshit if we still suffer. You're already suffering, and then in the hereafter we still suffer. Make it make sense. There is no way. And then there's Yaldabaoth, Sakla the fool, the blind one, this retard. Created by Sophia of the Pleroma, Gnosticism. And she doesn't seem to be, if she even exists, she doesn't seem to be helping out much or at all. She created, she's the so-called mom of this bad boy, this bad son, this bad seed, Yaldabaoth or Yaldabaoth, this retard, the fool, the stupid, the blind one. He's already evil. He created the devil. Wanna push all the blame on him. Not to mention his name is Morning Star, Lucifer. And then this mother of his, Sophia, she doesn't seem to be helping at all too. Right? Maybe we can have a direct message, a direct landline to her and communicate or something, Hello, be thy name. Thy queendom come. Thy will shall be done. Instead of this Yaldabaoth evil god. Then maybe she'll grant us, but even if we did that, she doesn't seem to be helping out too, as much as her creation, as much as her quote-unquote son. Bad boy, mommy is angry, mommy is disappointed. Unless this whole damn thing is just plain 46 chromosomes, stupidity and foolishness, and there's no such thing as all the evil, God and whatnot. It's just plain human stupidity. Then I'll be so disappointed. If I had the choice to reincarnate, I'd probably do, and I want to exact revenge. I think I'm becoming a little too strong for YouTube. Oh, YouTube is so soft. Might have to put it on Rumble next. But I'm just saying, being fiery honest. Being just fiery, hotter than the sun. And I'm not on fire somehow. Very dangerous. Yeah, parents trying to steal their children's lives is so stupid, You wasted it, now you're trying to steal your children's lives. That's disappointing and appalling and detestable, deplorable, reprehensible, idiotic, retarded, and foolish. So if the child, you gotta fight the good fight, you gotta live for yourselves. You gotta have that courage always, you gotta have that strength. Even better, you have connections. But if you don't have connections like some of us do, then I don't know, try to go as far as you can, as long as you can, and then see where you can go from there, but always focus, even Godfather number 2 encouraged this. Some of us are not meant for these things, these mundane things, these remedial things. We are meant for something greater. A lot of us in this space are. That's why we are outcast and we stand out, thrown to the side, because that's what society does not like, cannot handle. It's too much, it's too strong, it's too intense, it's too powerful, it's too bright. I'm very dark, even though life is light and dark, but for some reason society does not like the light at all. It wants to be completely yin, the yin and yang. Yin is darkness, it wants to be completely yin. But there should be a yang too. There should be light also. Light at the end of the tunnel. There can be no darkness without light, right? There can be no light without darkness. That's the equilibrium and balance of life, Taoism. And it's from us too. Dualities. There's a masculine and feminine. It takes a man and a woman to create a child. Even though women can create a child that is always consistently a girl from their bone marrow. But then you still need guys to upkeep society that you live in too, right? You know, that's why leave it to those guys that are hated, can't get a girl and whatnot, you know. You fucking retards. You wanna use us. Oh, those ugly guys, they are the slaves. They are the robots that have to upkeep society. You know, just because we hate them doesn't mean they are completely outcasted and thrown to the side. We still have some use of them. Make them do all these dirty work, you know. Austin Mahone, the song Dirty Work. Rolling my sleeves up to here. Don't make me smile ear to ear. Girl, I've been working that graveyard shift. You ain't gotta run around for this dirty work, you know. Because when you do what you love, you're gonna love what you do. Except in this case. You know, it's the dirty work. Somebody's gotta do it. You know it ain't no 9 to 5. We going sundown to sunrise. Dirty work. Copyright. Fuck you too. Copyright, go ahead. I don't care. Just being so fiery passionate right now. That's why it's almost 20 minutes. Otherwise I would have stopped already. But you know, I just want to get that out. Just want to speak my 2 cents. It's just retarded, you know, this existence and whatnot, the stupidity of 46 chromosomes, stupidity of Homo sapiens, of these apes, of these banana eating creatures. Yeah, myself included. You know, never forget, if I'm bashing humans, always remember I'm also bashing myself. Because I am. It's not like I'm a high and mighty holier than thou. No. I'm also disappointed. And I'm disappointed in you and others. I'm also disappointed in myself because we are 46 chromosomes. So that's all I gotta say is retarded that parents want to steal their children's lives because they wasted theirs for 40 or more or so years. That's all.